Oh yes, it is Marvel Contest of Champions news time for the 12th of December 2018. It's coming close to the holiday season and I think we're all incredibly excited. Whether or not you like Christmas or whatever religious holiday you're celebrating, it is going to be a great time. Especially a good time to grind out Marvel Contest of Champions. I don't know what this thumb's for, the game's not to the back of me, what am I doing? I don't know, let's just get into the news. And just before we get into the first story, special thanks goes out to Jason for the Conan story we're going to cover today, and Slayer of Gods for sending me a whole lot of news stories. So thanks guys, let's get into it. So first story is all about an issue with unblocking people. So as you know, in game you can block people that may be being rude, offensive, you can block them. But it looks like once you block them just the once, they are blocked forever. Now this could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing. This depends on how people feel about it. Oh, you're blocked forever, I ain't gonna speak to you again. But you know, you may want to welcome them back in, especially if for whatever reason that person may join an alliance. Very rare. If someone's being a bit of an asshat, then you know, chances are you're never going to speak to them again. But for people that want to unblock people, it's a bit of a problem. Kabam Videos picked up on this on the 26th of November 2018, and unfortunately it's still something that's happening today. So yeah, Kabam, you know, I know it's not a top priority, but please look into this. So for those that may be aware, not all of you will be doing something like map 6 in your alliance questing, but map 6 now has more decency with it. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, but there is going to be decency with the stuff you get out of it. The increased chances of getting a fully formed tier 4 basic, a fully formed tier 2 alpha is going to be a big draw for certain players, and maybe a big draw for people then switching alliances, maybe alliances that want to focus solely on map 6. As we know, map 6 is still quite expensive for alliances to run and you don't get anything back. Running map 5 is the more higher that gives back battle chips as well as gives back on gold. So players will either say to themselves, right, well, do I want to be an alliance that wants to shoot for this? Do I want to spend more? That means I have to grind out more in arena in order to facilitate that grind each week for my alliance. This will be questions you have to have, and whether or not you feel that you want to shoot for this stuff. There is great value in it if you want to then further your progression in game. Whether or not you want to quickly get to things like tier 2 alpha more quickly, you want to get to better thresholds of kind of ranking in alliance quest at the end of the week. This is largely your decision. But largely the thing is, expect the unexpected with this, and it's the same kind of process and kind of upheaval and improvements that they did to map 5 fairly recently. So again, it's up to you whether or not your alliance feels they want to go to that, but it is going to be more for higher up alliances or people that can devote a lot of time to the game. Movement is key in map 6. Next up, and issues where issues are, and that is largely with the forum, and specifically the beta testing forum, which is coming up with this stuff. And the same thing happened the other week with the forum, where we couldn't access this and it was down for a good amount of time. Even though the suggestion is about, you know, when you're running the beta testing that you change out your game center. I've done everything Kabam told me last time I was able to get into a beta test, and it did not work, which is really unfortunate, especially when you want to test new things that are coming into the game. And still, a lot of players are finding it when they're getting into it, it then pushes them out, or they disconnect and comes up with images like this. Very frustrating for those that really want to find out more about map 7 and any future beta testing in the game. Next up on Kabam, have hit a milestone, 4 years old, way! God, that was a bit louder than I thought. I think I put too much gunpowdery stuff in it. In any case, happy birthday Kabam! Well, Marvel Contest of Champions even. Over 20 billion crystals have been spent. Imagine all the money made. But in any case, it has been a good experience, and yeah, hopefully there's a lot more improvements when it comes into the 5th year. So yeah, happy birthday, and roll on for next year. Next up, and we have a poll. Next up, and we have a poll. No, I'm not talking about Tomasz from Warsaw. I'm talking about this one here, about 5-star champions of ones that should have reached there by now, the old school champions. At the moment, leading the poll is obviously Scarlet Witch, something the community really wants to see. Do I think that that's going to be delivered anytime soon? Now that I'm thinking about it, and I thought, oh, it'd be about Christmas time we'd see Scarlet Witch, but no, I reckon that this will be padded out and extended for as long as possible, and you probably have to wait until next year to eventually see that Scarlet Witch. It will be a case we'll probably see Thor in the summer, I reckon, and then all the other ones will just be kind of like put in just before, just to kind of like tease you and whet your appetites. Don't know what the money symbol's for, but that kind of plays a part in any case. But if you want to have your say and you want to vote for your favourite, then please do go to the link in the description below. Next up, let's talk about translations and language issues. This is largely when Kabam translates some of their nodes into other countries' language, and unfortunately it's a case that it's not always right. This is an example here of like Portuguese and translation, where you kind of like think you're going into one type of node, or it's not specific on what you're facing off against. This can be quite crucial for players, especially when going up against more difficult content. And the author of this post, has said that he does or she does dungeons. So therefore, when they're going into this stuff, they need to know the info. Kabam have like apologized for this, and they do look to improve things. We have had the issue in the past with a German or Deutsch translation, which is quite annoying, and I really hope that Kabam are not just like putting it through Google Translate, but maybe it's a case that they have some people on hand that maybe could be asked on this stuff, or I don't know if they have people of different language to just proofread some things. It's really helpful for a game that goes out to so many people in so many different countries. Next up, I had this story sent through to me, and I just thought this was quite hilarious. So I don't know what device this is, but this is Morningstar, a Morningstar with her mace that's just kind of, well, extended rather. I think she's excited to see somebody, if you know what I mean. And the weirdest thing is, this is on the same device I use. I use an iPhone 7 Plus, and this problem is on the iPhone 7 Plus. I've not had this issue, which makes me kind of like think, well, how does the game interact with so many different devices? Is this a country-specific thing? Again, like really odd. Maybe it's a case of like a dodgy download of the recent update. Again, really hard to kind of pinpoint what this is about. But Kabam have also noticed this out, and they say, hey, this is not the right thing whatsoever. And here is a copy of the video. So as you can see, seems fine at the moment, goes in, and then after he then comes out, and as you can see, it's whoa, hey, okay, it's just like pinging around, way. It's you can take out a few people. It's people jump over it if it comes at you. Our next story, and thanks very much to Jason for sending this through. This is information on Conan the Barbarian, who has now entered the Marvel Universe. In what capacity, it's really hard to say how he will expand out of this, but it is rooted to comic book material. The license has been bought by Marvel in early 2018, and it looks like he is going to have a story along the same lines, or working with the Valkyrie in a Thor type link up, and there's also talk about the Avengers. So yes, could this mean something for the contest? Could this mean something for the cinematic universe? It's very hard to tell the extent of the licensing agreement, but still, it's nice to kind of like see something that you saw as a kid. Even the recent film wasn't too bad, as I think it was Jason Momoa played the lead character. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing this, but what are your thoughts? Leave in the comment section below. Would you like to see Conan the Barbarian? I know, far-fetched idea, but well, we've seen far-fetched things in the game. There's a duck. Well, it's Howard the Duck in a mech suit. It's Howard the Duck being taken over by Venom. Things could get weirder. Next up, and we have had no further update on the Darkhawk situation. As you know, from the point of it being released, even I experienced it, there is a momentary lag at the start, and also device interaction, as well abilities interaction, and a few other things to boot. And also this month has been a little bit laggy in game. Either way, it's frustrating to have an update that has a character that maybe, you know, the community's not happy about going against, and it was promised and it was noticed by Kabam Mike back on the 5th of December that there was an issue. And even further update is that they were going to look into it and have some information back to us. Unfortunately, there is no update. We're already a week into this event, and it would be nice to get an idea whether or not it's going to be fixed in place. And, you know, is there going to be any sort of kind of compensation back the same way that Aegon got compensated for last month? But we'll keep you updated on that story as and which, you know, what develops for that. Okay, our next story is the next arena. My predictions for this, because hey, I'm putting with those predictions. Juggernaut, I think I've got going for about 30 or 32 mil. I know it's a little bit higher than I think most players would probably say, but I've got this feeling with Juggernaut going a little bit higher than normal, especially because my usual safe bet of 25 mil seems to be way off the mark currently. So yeah, 30 mil I think would be fine for that. The 4-star going for a usual flat 5 or 6 mil in conjunction with how it normally is for a less than desirable featured champ. And then Massacre, what do I think for that one? That one I reckon is going to go for about 2.9 mil, which may be a little bit higher than normal, but I just don't see it going anything kind of into the 3 mils, especially that 3.3 or 3.5. I just don't think it would do that. But 2.8, 2.9, I'll say 2.9 mil with that one. But we'll see if I'm wrong or right when it comes to Sunday. It's great when I'm right, but terrible when I'm wrong because I feel embarrassed. So that's been your Marvel Contest of Champions news. I'm currently working on the 12 days of MCOC, which I'm hoping to get done today, the 12th. But with the lyrics that I've just got to do for it, it's probably going to push it into tomorrow, which is annoying because I would like to have it on the 12th day that I release the 12 days of MCOC. It's going to be one of those obscure, usual RichTheMan videos that you all sort of know and sort of love. So if you kind of get it, then you get it. And forewarning, I couldn't use the 12 days of Christmas kind of song jingle with that. There's a lot of ones out there that have rights with them and like copyright stuff with it. And at the same time, the version on the audio library in YouTube is pretty pants. So I couldn't use that one. Instead, I've used a kind of like jingly background one, which kind of works, but it's all about the visuals and the lyrics that I think is what sells it. But in any case, you'll have that video shortly. Thank you very much for watching today's news. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content. Have your say in the comment section below about any of the stories that we've covered. Go to the links in the description as well. Support Marvel Contest of Champions True Course because he's amazing. We all love him. And yeah, I shall catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.